All right. Good morning. Hopefully everybody can hear me. New setup. We did the test on the weekend. Thanks for everybody that did join in. Thanks for everybody that's joining in this morning. We'll let people roll in as we go here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Did have some issues with the microphone, new microphone. So let me know if everything sounds okay. It should. If everything is working properly. So welcome Monday morning. Welcome everybody. The coffee crew rolling in. And for those that are watching on the replay, we go live Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to about 8:45. So it's good to have everybody here. It's time for coffee, of course. So hopefully you have a coffee. Hopefully your day is starting off okay. And let's get into it. We'll see who's rolled in. And I do have the chat. It should be working as well. So we've got Candace here. Good morning, Candace. Welcome. Always good to have you. I enjoyed your live stream yesterday, Candace. That was really good. I'm looking forward to your next knockout battle, and that should be interesting. It's always good to tune in. I've learned to set notifications when you post your live stream. So on that note, if anybody's watching this channel as well, you can set I do post the live streams ahead of time on the channel. You can set the notification. It'll pop up that you are when we go live. So trying to be on time always, and I was today. I have to get the timer at the very beginning kind of set up to start because it does run and I can't stop it and go forward. So we'll do that. We'll work on that. But I think we're pretty close to getting on time. But good to have you here. And Brian, good morning all. As people roll in, hopefully everybody had a decent weekend. Pretty low key weekend here for the most part. Just worked a bit on YouTube, and got ready to do my weekly purchase. So as everybody knows, I'm trying to do that challenge for the year, and what I'm doing is doing the $100 deposit every Monday, purchasing one share of VDY, $50 of PSA, and the remaining of the fractional amount that's left over into VFE. So did that this morning. I will post that later on my community tab, so you can check that out as well. So that will be there. And Terrain's here. Good morning. Welcome. Happy Monday. Always good to have you here. I've got the chat worked out okay, so we're on the right track here. It's always good to have you here. Hopefully you had a good weekend as well. And Stan is always here as well. The coffee crew, welcome. It's good to have you. All right. Now, I did have one question ahead of time that I will may as well mention here. It was from, let me pull it up. It was from Paul. Paul, I think he's been on the live stream as far as I know, but he was asking about the microphone. So his son was getting into broadcasting. So Paul, I will reply to your question, absolutely. But I will also let you know it's a dating microphone, and it's a USB one. I can't remember the model number. It's like a VO. It's like a weird. Do you think they would name these things easier to figure it out? But I will leave a link. I'll put it in my community tab as well for you, Paul, and reply to your comment. But it was bought as a kit, so not that expensive. It's not super cheap, but it wasn't super expensive either. Did a bunch of research on it, and this was kind of the best one I could kind of find. That was a good price as well. So I will reply to that, and hopefully it sounds better. That's the main thing. Hopefully getting the live stream sounding a little better and looking a little bit better. That was kind of the goal, and that is actually exactly what I was going to talk about. Train. We were all agreeing. We had a decent day on Friday. It's nice. It's funny how we get the green days, Paul, and then terrain, and then. It turns around and today I have to buy something and I'm like, oh, I wish it was a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit lower like it was last week, but hey, those are the breaks, so we'll take it. But it is looking decent today, which is nice. It's always nice to see. It puts you in a better mood when you see your portfolio go up rather than down. Especially, I mean, I can't speak for everybody else's, but for mine, obviously, as everybody knows, as I did share on the weekend an update as well. So, but nice little improvement. I think that's good. Hopefully, it can continue on. We'll see. What's my favorite band? That's a random question, but that's I've got a few. I've got you know what? I'm not super into music, Brian. My brother is very into music. He's in the music industry, and so it's funny. I think probably growing up, as you grow up, you want to do things that are opposite of your older brother. But I would have to say actually probably my favorite. I have a lot of varied taste though. I like. Okay, well everybody can mention there. Sorry, Candace, I haven't heard of is the rubber band. I don't even know what that is. I'm not super like in terms of new music. I'm way behind, believe me. So Brian's let us know in the comments what yours are. Is Green? Yeah, Green Day is a good band. That's a good one. I'll go with that. But no, my favorite. If we're talking about favorite bands, I do like. There's a few more like. I like Peter Gabriel. I like uh, David Bowie. I like Pink Floyd. Kind of that kind of. It's a bit. I have kind of an awe, kind of everything except country and rap. I guess would be what I like. But that's that. But anyways, yeah. I don't. Bob Marley and the Wailers. There we go. There you go. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Sorry, I should add reggae to the mix too. It's funny. I don't actually listen to a lot of music. Um, that's so good. Yeah. Uh, it's I don't. It's funny. I don't actually listen to a lot of music when I drive and I go around. I keep it off because I kind of think that's just me. I like it quiet, but that's all. So and they give even around the house and around night. Like if I got my headphones on, I'll watch like a YouTube or something like that instead of listening to music. Don't really put on music that often. Anyways, it's a Green Day though. So in on the note of Green Day, let's we do have a screen. I should have the screen share set up. So I wanted to just mention because we've started obviously the coffee crew. We've started. Here we go. It does work. I started off a keeping track of everybody's as they kind of mentioned shares and like stock companies ETFs in the chat. I figured it would be good to have to set up on the channel a little bit of a watch list. So I just went to Google Finance was decent because I find this one good because it doesn't have a ton of like obviously no advertising, which is awesome, and it also will pull up some news if there's anything kind of happening with people's watch lists. So I figured we kind of check up on this every day to see how some people's favorites are doing. So if you have a favorite, I've only got a few things in there right now. Hopefully you can see this okay. But we've got just a handful in there right now. BMO low volatility, ZLB, ZLU, the US version, water that was mentioned by somebody. That's kind of more of a penny stock. Not really doing much on that one. iShares, XEQT obviously is a pretty popular one. And MC, who's not on today yet, unless hasn't commented, but they were watching Lithium Ionic Corp. And then on Thursday or Friday, Restaurant Brands, QSR was mentioned. So if anybody has any other ones they want to add to that, just fire up a comment and we'll add it to the list as we go here. So I figured it'd be kind of good to pull that up every, kind of grab that every stream just to see how everybody else's stuff is doing, or if there's anything that news jumps out, we can kind of grab it and look at it that way with that. So it will we'll pull up that. So I thought that would be kind of fun to go there, and we'll keep on doing that. Yeah. So I set that up on the weekend. If anybody's looking for a stock tracking program, Google Finance is actually pretty decent. It's pretty simple to set up. What I will eventually do, I've got the coffee crew set up as a coffee crew now, but I can actually put them in different. I'll move as we get more in there. I'll move the ETFs and different. I can move them into different categories, so we can kind of check it that way. Will be the best way I think to do it, because it's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And if you're looking to track it on your stuff, it's I know there's a lot of other apps and stuff out there, but this one seems to be I find like really the simplest. Yahoo Finance, you can do it as well, but Yahoo has a ton. You get kind of inundated with ads a lot of times. So Google seems to work. I find works pretty good as well. There's also another app like. I know what's popular right now is that Blossom app, which we've talked about a little bit before, and I don't really like to use that one. It keeps reminding you to add in your portfolio and like link it up, and I just don't really want to do that. So it's I've kind of left that off the radar. But I know a few people do use Blossom as well. So we'll carry on with that one now. In terms of news, other than it being a green day, I really didn't pull up a ton of stuff. Monday seems to be always kind of not a ton of news day, but we do have some stuff coming up later in the week. There is the CPI is coming up on, I believe, Thursday from the States. So that would be kind of interesting to see. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We'll obviously pull that one up when it is more close to time. Yeah, Candace, let's pull this seating back. There we go. That's better. I'm not a big. It started off okay. It looked decent, Candace. I'll be honest, but it. I just don't see the. It started. What got really annoying with it is when it keeps. I just can't stand these apps. Maybe they'll be watching these Blossom people, but I mean, good on them for trying to start a new, kind of social media finance kind of idea. But I just didn't really like how it kept bugging, it started really bugging you to implement and whatever I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of, but it keeps asking you to authorize to connect to your financial institution, wherever your trades are. So it will pull over that information. But I just I don't want to do that, and I don't see the point in doing that. And it would let you do it manually. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll let you do it manually, but then it keeps popping up on the top, on the front. It goes like, don't forget, finish setting up your account. It just keeps giving you reminders and maybe there's a button somewhere that I'm not seeing that to turn it off, but it just kind of got annoying and frustrating. So I have really just deleted it off my phone. Can't really be bothered. They did some kind of neat ideas though. I mean, they had some things where you could do some learning about different companies, and they would send you $5, whatever it was, you learn and earn kind of thing, and you could earn a couple bucks, and if you could either withdraw it, and they would send you an e-transfer for it, which is kind of awesome. I mean, nothing wrong with making kind of free money for doing a bit of learning. Or what you could do is if people are posting things, you could give them gifts. You could send them like $1 of your funds. So good way of kind of rewarding a creator that's on there, because there is a lot of there's a lot of like other YouTube. There is some YouTubers on there that are kind of pushing it. It must be. I mean, I don't know if they're sponsored or what, but you can have it on there, and it is what it is. Good kind of a startup idea, but for me, and that's exactly it. If they want to see my portfolio update, they can watch it inside. Yeah, I just don't see the point in giving a third party access to that kind of thing for everything. Obviously, if we're talking about like with Wealthsimple, obviously you connect your bank account because you have to deposit money, but they're not going to keep forcing you to connect all your bank accounts and everything else to there. So it's that's just not really a fan. The biggest thing for me, I mean, some people might like it if they're not. For me, I found is it just takes too much time, and obviously I don't want to spend if it's a social media thing. My kind of opinion is I just don't want to waste my time there. That's all. I think find a lot of news on my own. In terms of following people, you can follow people on Twitter if you want to learn about finance. So I spend my time in other places, and I just thought having that other new app would divert my time from other things. And I was not really wanting to. Obviously, there's people on there that are creating, right? They're writing informative posts, but I didn't really want to do that either. Because you can obviously if you're posting things, people are getting these gifts, $1, making some money. That's awesome if they're wanting to do that. I just didn't want to put the time into it. If I'm going to put the time into something, in terms of building a following and that kind of thing, I focus on YouTube. So works for me, and that's why I'm not there. But hopefully they do well. I mean, it's Canadian little kind of startup, so it's always nice when young entrepreneurs start these ideas, and hopefully it pays off for them. But just not my thing. So now I mentioned that I did my weekly purchase this morning. Has anybody else bought anything this morning? I don't know. Candace, you're here, so maybe you're not trading this morning. I don't know. I think oil is up as well today, so I'm not sure on that one. I'm still really torn whether to add a oil ETF to my portfolio or not. I keep saying I want to, but I just haven't done that yet. so it'll be interesting. Interesting. Let us know, Candace, what you're doing today. It's oil seems to be, just reading about it. I mean, it's up to date. It's like anything else. It's volatile, and but I can see it. I can see it being possibly a good trade this year, or something good for the portfolio. Just with everything opening up, right? China opening back up, U.S. not having refilled their strategic reserves. Now, I did find an article. Let me see if I can find it again. There was talk about that the states hasn't refilled their strategic reserve yet. It's still, Biden is saying, still too expensive, I think, or didn't get the price they wanted. So that's kind of interesting. If the market is open, you are trading. There you go. Okay, that's good. That is good. And hopefully hopefully you're doing okay. That's the main thing. And Nadia, good morning. And just for Nadia today, I got my mug. Nadia had sent me this, good friend of mine, Nadia, had sent me a new mug to use on the channel. So thanks, Nadia. I've been using that as well. And good morning. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. It's always good. It's always good to have the regulars that are here. And Candace, I'm trying to find that article about oil, and no, I can't find it. I had it open on here we go. It is on Yahoo Finance. It's just a blurb though. I can pull this up. Just basically a paragraph, if you can see my mouse there. The Biden administration is delaying purchases to refill the emergency oil reserve after deciding that the offers it received were either too expensive or didn't meet the required specifications, according to people familiar with the matter. So there's one paragraph there. So I kind of found that interesting. So we'll see what happens with oil going forward. The only oil I really have, people have asked that, because I have energy. I have renewable energy stocks in my TFSA, but I think I'm kind of covered at this point enough for in BTC.Y there is some energy in there, oil and energy in there as well. So, and thanks for the mug, my Christmas present for the mug. Can never have too many coffee mugs, that's for sure. And so you're playing between some stocks and an inverse ETF. What's the inverse ETF, Candace? What's the inverse one for the oil that you're looking at? I'll put that on the list because I'll kind of watch that and see what happens as well. I know you do like XEG. I'm gonna add XEG to the. I'm gonna add XEG to the list. There we go. I think I added it. XEG, yes. XEG, for those that are watching, is the iShares S&P TSX capped. HOD. Okay, I'm going to add that one as well. There we go. That's two for the watch list today. HOD. Sorry, I'm typing HOD, which is Harley. HOD. Beta Pro Crude Oil Inverse Leverage Daily Bear ETF. There's a handful. That one. Let's add that in there. Okay, thanks, Candace. Obviously not financial advice to go out and start trading on either of these, but it's always fun to watch and kind of see what other people are doing to kind of look at. And let me pull that up on the chat. There we go. HOD. For those that are maybe interested. I know you probably share that, Candace. Do you share that? I know you share your trades more, I think, to your channel members, right? What ones you're doing on your community tab, I think. And that's probably what I'll probably start. That's what I was kind of thinking as well. Once we'll get not monetized yet, but it's coming soon. Actually, it's funny. It's each day is going up and up and up. I'm each day it's closer and closer to the 5,000 watch hours. We're down to the last couple hundred. So it's getting there. So these live streams help. Obviously, as everybody views, it's always helpful. And the channel members get to see all of your investment trades. There you go. That's cool. And Candace, do you share your day trade stuff to your channel members? Or is it just your TFSA? Or is it kind of everything? Oh, way too many. Yeah, that's what I would figure. You go kind of crazy. You could do you need to, although it would be hard because you have to really pay attention. It's I was going to say you could do a live stream over the shoulder, but people would be watching, but it would be kind of like it might not be, it might be exciting for people to watch, but it might not be, because you have to be, the problem with the live stream is you have to be focused obviously on your audience and be able to talk to them and say what you're doing, and you'd have to, yes, at the same time you still have to pay attention to what the market's doing. So you might get distracted if you are doing a live stream. It might be fun to do one-off though, maybe a one-off live stream just to see. Hey Abigail, welcome. Thanks. Yeah, new mic. I had a test on the weekend, so getting set up. Hopefully it does sound better. It's hard because I can't hear it, right? So, but I went back yesterday and had some issues at the very beginning. It was Saturday. I did the quick stream to set up the sound. So I'm glad I did it beforehand, because there were some issues with the volume being too low. But I think it's gotten figured out, and I think it sounds okay. The next step on the channel is going to be a second camera angle. So when I am looking at my screen, you'll see my face head on and not turning away from everybody. But I have to get that set up. I just haven't done that. So already 8 trades, 8 buys and 8 sells this morning. They had already, so that's 16. So wow, yeah, that's too. I would be. It must be tiring. I would say it would be tiring. You know what I mean? Like your mind tiring by the end of the day. Do you go all day, Candace, or are you kind of done after the mid morning? It's hard to know. I used to work in the hotel. I was in the hotel business, and every morning we would always get, not every morning, but about 10 o'clock. Just before the bar opened. It was funny, but in the lounge, the traders would come in after, just like at 11 o'clock kind of thing, because they were kind of done for the day. So I don't know if that's everybody's kind of the same. And the sound is good. Awesome. Thanks. Thumbs up. And I guess whatever thumbs up is thumbs up the stream. Always helps everybody. Helps the channel out. Gets out there. We're getting lots of new. It's actually good. Interesting with the channel. I'm starting to get a lot of new people visiting the channel. So new comments. So I think that's good. Starting to do a few different kind of videos, not just the portfolio updates. So it's kind of bringing in some new people. So hopefully some of them are going to be joining on the stream. More the merrier. It's always good. Build up the coffee crew as we go. So it's this kind of it's nice. It's nice to see the channel growing slowly but surely. So I think as the once we get once this market bear ends, I think, and the people get more, once the market starts to pick up, the channel will pick up. It's interesting like that. When more people are investing, it gets busier. But nothing wrong with taking have a good morning and take your money and run. I guess that would make a lot of sense. That way you don't. That way you don't get greedy and maybe make mistakes. I'm thinking, right? It's that's the one thing. I mean, I can even kind of say with my portfolio, there was a few things last year that I should have sold that were doing a lot better than when I sold them. One would have been when I had Cineplex, and I was actually up quite a bit on Cineplex, and I should have sold it earlier, because obviously, as people know, that was kind of that COVID play stock. But I'm glad I sold it when I did, because I still made a little bit of money, and it's not as much. But I should have took my money and ran, I guess would be the takeaway from that one. And there's a few on the portfolio that I should have. The biggest thing I find is, so Candace here, usually make 75% of daily earnings by noon. So call it quits by noon. Nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Make it a short day. I should actually do a video on patience, because this is what I find is like the hardest thing, because I have a long-term investment goal, and all my investments are long-term, but sometimes like patience still gets in the way, and you just want things to move faster, and it's like, or things aren't moving necessarily fast enough, so you're like, trade this more. It's a very it's such a mind game. I find with investing, and you you have to always, I think it's harder because I'm looking at it. I guess the takeaway there is don't look at your portfolio every day, but it's hard when you run a channel that talks about portfolios to not look at your portfolio. But I think the biggest thing is if people are watching is if you have a long-term retire, if it's for retirement or 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is be patient. And I'm learning that, but it's always hard when you look at things you just kind of want it to move faster, and you think, okay, well, maybe if I sell this and move it into this will be better, but it's such a hard thing to do. So it's hard to step back and stick to your plan, stick to your plan. That's the hardest thing I find. I don't know, let me know in the comments, what's the hardest thing you find about investing? I guess that's pretty open-ended, but it can be, so it can be kind of anything what you find hard. I mean, obviously it's hard because you don't always have enough money to want to put more in when you can, or but the hardest thing for me is probably is patience. Patience is hard. You want it to build faster, but it just takes its time. That's the one thing I've really learned these last couple of years, to be patient. And then if anyone, let's pull up, 1 second here. I did have one article, but I always close off my tabs. It was on, hold on here, if I can find it. No, that's the problem with news. It always, if you don't save it, it always refreshes, and it goes away. Goes away. Let me see if I can. No, it's disappeared. It's disappeared. Anyways, excuse me. We need more coffee. It was no. It was on Tesla, and I have a little bit of Tesla on my. I can't find it again, but it was Tesla doing okay today. Obviously, still way down, and it was just mentioning basically that Tesla is. I know there's a few people that have Tesla. I know Vic has the Tesla Yield, that new Tesla Yield ETF. Those are interesting. I do find those interesting. But the article is basically mentioned like Tesla is now way oversold. So if people are looking at Tesla, maybe it's time to kind of, if you've been thinking and on the fence on that one. I still do want to add to my Tesla position, slowly but surely, which is kind of hard all the time because I'm trying to. You can't do everything. That's the hardest part with investing too. It comes back to patience. You can't. You still have to be able to have money in your account to be able to buy groceries and everything else. So once you get the initial, once I'm now doing my weekly deposit there, it's always kind of harder to get, you got to budget, make sure you're good. You don't want to definitely put everything into your TFSA, that's for sure. But I do want to add more than that, and I've been kind of looking at that yield ETF. I'm going to add that a couple of those yield ETFs to the watch list as well, because I do find those interesting as the market, as Tesla especially seems to be, way down. There might be some opportunity, I think, there, especially with the dividends coming in on those. It would be interesting to see how those first pan out and how they continue. Because I know, actually, I think we were talking about a little bit on your stream a little bit yesterday, Candace, because I have the same, the same company as I have BTC.Y in my TFSA, and the dividend is the volatility on that on BTC.Y is obviously, well, Bitcoin, everybody knows. It's been fairly flat for the last little while, actually. So, but the dividend is quite good. So I'm hoping in the next, if we're looking at timelines, 10 years, That is one. That is one stock and ETF that I will take my money and run. Not that I'm not a believer in Bitcoin, but I think if it does have the next Bitcoin kind of bull run, when or if it ever comes back, I think that will do quite well. Uh, and that will be one I sell for sure if I can make some money on that one. We'll see how that pans out. And in terms of Bitcoin, we still have to have the stream about Bitcoin mining. There is some interest on my channel about, so we'll get that set up and go. And I know there's a couple people watching the channel that are starting their own channels, and so I'll put that out again. If anybody wants to come on, once you get your channel started and you want to come on, if it's finance related, obviously. I know there's couple people that are. So if you ever want to come on the channel, we'll do a live stream and we'll do chit chat. It's always good with two people. It's always kind of a bit of fun to have someone else on, some other opinions. So don't be afraid. There's always on the contact page of the YouTube. My email's on there. You can always shoot me an email if you want to set something up. That would be kind of fun, because there's a lot of creators out there, and if we could help each other out, that's always the good thing. I know there's Candace on today has her channel. I think everybody that's watching is probably subscribed to Mountain Finance. If you're not, after the stream, go over there, help each other out. It's always good to support people, because it's hard to do these these videos and all the YouTube stuff consistently, as people know. If you have a channel, it's not always easy when you're usually working and doing something else, and then having to jump on and do a channel. Exactly, stronger together. There's room for everybody. That's one thing I found in YouTube. There's everybody's got their own voice. They're not there's overlapping content for sure, but I think everybody has their own, ends up putting their own spin on things, and has their own strengths and that other people don't have, and just have other opinions. And there's room for everybody, that's for sure, on there. And I follow quite a few, and if anybody has any other channels that they recommend, always don't be afraid, leave even throw a comment on a video or something like that, or on one of the chats, because sometimes YouTube will feed you things, but obviously I'm not necessarily seeing everything that is out there. I'm sure there's some channels that I have no idea about, that I haven't followed or seen on YouTube. Canadian, anyways, I prefer, just because it's a bit more relevant for investing. I find some of the US based investment channels are kind of clickbaity and not necessarily what I want to follow, but there we go. Yeah, thanks, Brian. And the stream seems to be working okay. It was funny, because I've done, 60 some odd. This is number 69 I've done, of those streams. And it's so funny, like today was actually like it was like nerve wracking today coming on, because it's like, okay, is everything going to work? So it's funny. It's just the new system I'm using. It's fairly straightforward. It's a bit more technical, because it's definitely more customizable than with StreamYard. Normally StreamYard, you just log in and start your camera and go. This is a bit more technical to get the chat set up and everything else for each stream, and cameras connected and cords connected and microphones connected. So it's like, it was nerve wracking. I was like had a little bit of sweat coming down my thing to make sure it was gonna work properly in the fun. Yeah, I'll come on there, Candace, for sure. Yeah, I can do that for sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Always. Yeah, we'll set that up. I guess it goes both ways. If anybody wants to, if anybody has a, streaming is different. Not everybody that does videos is not everybody that does YouTube videos do live streaming. There's a lot of finance channels that I've kind of followed that don't even put their face on the camera. I'm not. I think you should, but obviously not everybody wants to do that, which is fine. But I guess if we give one suggestion for people that are starting channels or wanting to start channels, we talked about, is I think probably get your face on there because I think it's a bit of connection, but it's not for everybody. So what works for you. But I think if you're looking to grow, it helps to be in front of the camera. Definitely, I've noticed that. And for me, I've just kind of transitioned more to the live streams, partly because they're kind of fun to do. Lets you talk to people, gets my morning started. Learned a lot. You do learn a ton, and everybody can kind of help, for the most part, help each other and move forward that way and learn some things with suggestions and all that kind of stuff, or set you on the right path, or bring you back to the path that you maybe were wanting to get. Were originally on for investments, and they haven't steered me wrong. The coffee crew has not steered me wrong so far. So, and on that coffee note, I do need more coffee. Monday morning coffee is always the Monday mornings is always the hard part. And Justin, welcome. Yeah, I was hoping to be up and running by now, but the DSLR I wanted to use is too old for video streaming. We'll probably just start by using a phone. Yeah, the phone works. I don't know what kind of computer you have, Justin. I mean, we can talk about. I know you left a comment on my last one because I asking what camera I used. If you're streaming, you have to make sure that the camera can either be like a webcam. So some of the older ones you can't, or you would need to have a video capture card. It can get technical. This is the hard part. It can kind of get technical, and in order for my camera to run, I have to use an HDMI output into a video capture switcher that I have, and I've had that from before. So it can be kind of hard to get that first started up, but I know the phone can work. Before, I used to use just the webcam, like the webcam on my iMac, which worked okay. And you can use your phone. Candace, if Candace is still watching, she can probably steer you in that direction, because I believe Candace uses her iPhone for her live streams, because it will connect up like a webcam. And yeah, you need to have a clean HDMI out. That's exactly right, because what will happen is there might be something. Some cameras I don't think have it, but yeah, some cameras I know for mine's the Fuji X-T4. You can turn that on and off. So obviously, for people that are watching, it's not that aren't camera people. Clean HDMI basically means, like, if you have a camera, when you have the screen, there's obviously all the menus and stuff on that. So some cameras don't have what's called a clean HDMI, and clean HDMI output, as we get into, like, we're going from finance to cameras, but clean HDMI output will put just the picture over on the screen, instead of having all the menus on the screen, because obviously if you're watching a live stream, you don't want to see people's camera menu. Justin, if you want, shoot me an email. You can go to my page and shoot me an email. I can kind of give you a list of some cameras that are decent. Some of the Sony ones have some good. It depends on how much you want to spend, though, because it can be expensive. Yeah, but you can get some decent ones that are not too expensive. Still, you don't really need anything that's super for streaming. You don't really need anything. You don't want to necessarily need 4K, so that kind of cuts the cost down a little bit. So you can sometimes find some used cameras that are decent. Some of the Sony ones are decent, but it just really depends on your setup and your budget, because it's expensive. So Candace uses uses iPhone for live streams. And I think that connects wirelessly now, if I'm not mistaken, like the new, depending what your phone is, but I think you can use the iPhone with the new operating system. If you have a Mac, you can actually connect it wirelessly as a webcam. But Justin, if you have a decent newer computer with a webcam, you could kind of start that. And so Sony's are good for YouTube. They have really good, decent autofocus, better than the Fuji. The reason I have a Fuji is because of my other channel. It's about Fuji cameras mostly, so that's why I have I used to have Sony cameras, but got rid of them. And it connects wirelessly. There you go, for iPhone, if you have a new one. There we go. Fire We Go. Thanks, Brian. Let me just search this out. Fire We Go is a nice Canadian finance. I've never heard of this. Let me pull it up. If I can find it. Fire We Go. Oh, there we go. Fire We Go. I will subscribe. Yeah, there's so many you never hear of. I always like to look too, how long. Oh no, they're doing new videos. So 18 hours ago, 7 days ago. Okay, good. That's one thing you have to kind of watch. And what I've noticed is sometimes the people will start off, because YouTube is hard. You start off with a bang, and then you realize that it's people will realize that it's harder than harder than it is, and will give up because it takes time to start a channel. That's for sure. A lot of work, and it doesn't pay off for depending, because if you're not monetized, you don't make any money. So you're spending a good year or two doing it because you like it, not because you are making money. Young couple investing. I'm gonna check them out. Thanks, Brian. That's a good one. I'll watch a couple of their videos. I've subscribed, so they'll pop up now on my feed. Yeah, there is a lot out there to find. That's for sure. And it's nice when you see that I make sure if you're subscribing to channels, make sure they're active still, because like I said, a lot of them drop off, which is fine. It's just not. It's YouTube's hard. YouTube is definitely hard. You need to have patience for YouTube as well. But this community, the finance, I find the finance community is pretty good. I haven't had really I haven't hit the mark on this channel yet of subscribers in terms of haters, because YouTube, once you hit a certain number of subscribers, you start to get more ugly comments, and it's I've been fortunate enough with this channel not to for the most part, which is good, other than the odd spam kind of ones. But I find as soon as you hit get kind of up there past subscriber counts, you start to get the bad comments. But you just learn to go delete and block. It's pretty easy. So very open about their portfolios, and they post their divs regularly. Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. I'm going to check them out. I'm going to watch a couple videos after this, after we go in the stream. Yeah, I like that one. I'll leave them a comment. Maybe they're following. I don't know. It's sometimes YouTube doesn't give you the best, doesn't tell you always who's following your channel. So it's hard to kind of know. So there we go. There we are. Well, that's good. 8:45, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. I think the new system is working okay for the most part. So that's good. We'll try and just kind of up the streams every day. It's always kind of good to come through. So that will be kind of ready to trying to end it. I don't want to say end it, but if anybody has any last minute comments, questions, now is the time to fire them up, and we'll get to those because it's coming towards the end of time, and I have to get to work today on a Monday. Good old Mondays. It's like after that Christmas time off, it's like back to the grind. So, for better or worse. But carrying on, I guess for the week, I always kind of like to do a portfolio update midweek. I will post on my community tab the purchases that I did this morning for that 1 year. Carrying on with my regular dollar cost averaging purchases. I'll put that on the community tab. I will get a portfolio update on usually by Wednesday. I like to get that one on by midweek, but I also did do a portfolio update over the weekend. So if you were looking for a video to watch after this stream, you can head over to the channel. I have my latest portfolio update on there, which was filmed on the weekend, And going forward, more live streams tomorrow, obviously Monday to Friday. So we're going to stick to it and be on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So you'll be able to check that out. I'll get that posted later on today. You can set the notification bell, and we'll catch everybody tomorrow. That's all I've got for today. So if anybody has any last minute questions, fire it in there. Any comments? If not, we'll give you a couple minutes, because I know there's sometimes a bit of a delay from when I'm talking to when you see these questions. But that's a good Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. That's all good. It's a good Monday, because I'm just looking back on the thing, and it seems to be in the green today. I think almost everything in just looking at my portfolio is entirely either flat or actually I think we're actually all in the green, which is nice for a change to see. We'll be looking back in 6 to 8 months and wishing that we were able to buy more at the sale. I think at the sale prices we're getting today, and then in 10 years, as we're still going on, I'll be 10 years older on this stream, getting up to trying to get up to my $100,000 in my TFSA, and I'll have less hair and more gray, but we'll get there eventually. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for following along. I do really appreciate it, everybody. And on your way out, don't forget to hit that like button. Always helps out the channel. I haven't got my fireplace to end it, but as we're about to roll out, MC, good morning. You made it at the end, MC. You made it at the end. Quick recap: we were talking about we've started the Coffee Crew watch list. I started that on Google. So if you have a stock or ETF, we have your lithium one on there. We're just kind of doing a the Coffee Crew live stream watch list. We're gonna have checking up on that. We talked about that. We talked about YouTube a little bit. We talked about we will get the fireplace. I have to upload and upload somehow to figure out how to upload the video of fireplace. I will figure that out. But that's incoming. The only thing I have to get the end stream set up to get the fireplace. So we will have that at the very end, but next time, Candace. It's a work in progress. But anyways, on that note, MC, thanks for tuning in. Even though you missed it all, you can go back. The replays, as everybody knows, the replays will always be on the channel. So if you want to go back, if there's something you missed or wanted to see, you can always scroll and scrub through and watch it that way. And MC, if you want to watch it after, you're more than welcome to. Always appreciate it. We'll catch everybody in the next one. We're coming up at 9 o'clock. So time to work. I appreciate your morning, and we'll see you tomorrow.